Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com.
Okay, so I'm here with Shannon. We're going to start. And this is really just a conversation about the journey of dog ownership and dog selection and matchmaking, and all about just your experiences and just having the right dog in the right home. And so I'm just going to ask a series of questions, and Shannon's going to ask some questions, and we'll just kind of talk about the journey.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
So the first thing, you had popped into my head, but the thing that stuck out the most, Laura, was when I was at Mio's house. She said, that dog is the perfect dog for your family. Everybody can, he can be packed around. He can be a tough dog. He can be, the girls' dog. She says he's just so perfect. And even though he has some funny little nuances that we'll talk about, it was fun to hear like somebody from the outside going, he just fits in with you. And especially talking to somebody that knows you so well.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't think that like Mio, I want to say maybe met him really early on when he was brand new.
Yeah.
Not since then. We haven't talked that much. I haven't seen her. So, and then, she's like, wow, he really is fabulous. And he was being respectful. He gets really excited at the door. We're still working on that one. I'm like, that's probably a lifetime thing.
Yep.
He understands his place, but he's like, once he welcomes someone in, he's just right back to playing with the girls in there. They honestly romp with him harder than Benson ever would.
Oh, it's funny. Like
they're on top of him, and he is tolerant as the day is long. I can't even. People are always commenting, "Wow, your dog is so tolerant and gentle." It's true.
Yeah,
but we told him he had to be.
Right.
So
we
kind of set out the expectation, but I think that's also his character. I think from the very beginning.
Yeah. Yep.
Harvey is like the epitome of you can't put a good dog down. Like he is 100% happy, compliant. He's just like a, hey guys, I'm up for anything. Everything's cool kind of dog.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we first started this little journey, it was, needing hypoallergenic. It's something that was not a decision that was not made overnight as far as adding a dog into your family.
No, I think it was more than at least a year between the time when you first sat down with us and we kind of discussed this idea of, okay, we want a dog, but we're not super sure. And we think we want/need a small dog. And here's all the things. And in my mind, I was like, well, nothing fits. So we'll just keep on the road where we were. And it kind of ate at me for a really long time because I knew eventually we were destined to be a dog family. I grew up in a dog family. I probably follow more dogs on social media than I follow people.
Right.
And Ryan is not the extent that I am. I think my family, passes back and forth pictures of dogs and memes of dogs. Like, we love dogs.
Sure.
But Ryan also grew up with dogs. But each of us actually grew up with bad dogs. Now that we know what it is to successfully work with a dog and train a dog, we're like, wow, neither of us actually grew up in a really healthy dog home.
Right.
We had dogs with no boundaries.
Yep.
So it's really I think one of the big things for me was I did not want anything to add to my stress level. I felt like with my business, with my other responsibilities, with the kids, with, travel loads with Ryan and work, it just didn't seem practical to add something else that was going to set me over the edge.
Right.
And I had a lot of anxiety about it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and then I went into that whole foray of I found this dog and I think we want this dog.
Yep.
Which was a huge learning experience. I mean, we're out of that now, and there's still a part of my heart that's like really sad.
Sure.
About losing this puppy. But I feel like I have a very specific testimonial to how it works when you do it right.
Yeah. So
when you work with someone who knows.
Let's talk a little bit about, so you had a neighbor that had a little toy poodle
Right.
And you guys had spent quite a bit of time with that dog.
Yeah, that dog was in our lives very much. We lived in small homes. We basically played in the middle of the street. So this dog was always around us, and it reminded us of how much we love dogs.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, maybe we can do this.
Right.
And I love my friend because she's a go-getter. She went out and found somebody's contact that had a dog, a litter of toy poodles, and said, I think this is it.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, I think we're going to do this. But from the get-go, I had some major hesitations. I really felt like really nervous, and I thought a lot of that was going to be because I was finally taking this step. I was finally going to get a dog, and it was scary for me.
Yeah.
But now that I am on the other side of it, I can see what it was. I think it was my gut telling me this is not a good idea. And you were incredibly positive and helpful, but it was also like I just went ahead and did it. We put a deposit down on this dog. I was nervous from the get-go, and when she showed up, she was sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's very, very sick. Half as much as she should have weighed. She had, which I think she survived 4 days with us. She had pneumonia and Giardia.
Yep.
And we pretty aggressively tried to save her.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, we pulled out all the stops as far as veterinary work goes.
Right.
They did everything they could have. And I think I was heartbroken because of this idea that I had failed.
Sure.
At this.
Yeah.
I'd waited so long to do this, and I had failed.
Yeah.
And it split me in half to think of that. And part of me was like, I can't go back there. Obviously, this is not for us. We can't do it. And the urging from you and from others was, you gave me this amazing birth of understanding, but also, okay, it's time to get back on the horse. And here's why. Your kids won't understand this. And part of my heart was really reserved for a long time. So I was incredibly cautious about Harvey.
Sure. Yep.
It really was.
Yep.
But now that we're on this side of things, I am so knitted to this dog. I will cry because even though he's got these weird quirks, we all have these weird quirks, know?
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, he was an incredible puppy.
Yeah.
Smart, with it, very obedient, absolutely just turn himself inside out to please.
Right.
Really. I mean, and quick learner. And I had virtually no tolerance for anything. So that was one of the reasons he was perfect.
Right. Yeah. Well, and when we went, you went with me or I went with you, we kind of went in this journey of looking at dogs, and we went into several homes. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about your overall feelings when we went in to look at a couple of these breeders, puppies kind of situation.
So, I was initially terrified by the idea of what we call a big dog.
Yep.
I've never lived with a big dog. I never spent a lot of time around anybody with a big dog. I had nothing against them. I just thought big dog, big food, big poo, big, everything.
Right.
Like it just kind of was like, I don't think that's for us. We like a lap dog. But at your urging, you kept saying, you guys are an active family and you love to get out, all this stuff. And a poodle in specific is the perfect dog. A poodle is going to follow your cues. If you want to be lazy inside, your dog will be lazy. If you want to go outside and run, your dog will go outside and run. And it was like, this is too good to be true. So I kind of wrapped my mind around this and trusted you in saying, okay, let's go look at some standards. We showed up to this house, it was different. It was kind of a culture shock. I saw these puppies that were a lot larger than I would imagine a puppy should be in my mind.
Right.
Granted, they were a little older than the normal. I think I want to say they were like maybe 12 weeks.
Yeah, they were.
Weeks.
Yep.
And I mean, even though I loved them, I was like, I don't know, this is scary. And I could very much see how the atmosphere that the dogs are in from the breeder was a big deal.
Yep.
I could see how, just how they were treating the dogs. Not that they were mistreating the dogs, but maybe lack of boundaries, lack of exposure, lack of anything that I would want to give my child from the get-go.
Yep.
Was essentially what we ended up wanting to give our dog, right?
Right.
Exposure to textures and different stressors and on all of this stuff. And I could see how these puppies were not as
any
prepared.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very apparent to me from the get-go.
Yep.
And even in just discussing, you know, you'd said, hey, there's this litter coming up of these party poodles. And I'd had a hard time wrapping my mind around the poodle look, which now that I'm a poodle owner, I subscribe to poodles. I do.
Right.
Because I do think they're darn near the perfect dog.
Yep.
But in the beginning, I was like, it's not really my aesthetic. No, I don't want those poofy leg pom-poms and all this crap. Like, they're foofy and stupid.
Yep.
And then I find out that they're actually these genius water dogs and retrievers. And like, they do all the things.
Yep.
So the second that I saw that ad, it struck me. And I'm very much a gut feeling person. And I was like, okay, this is it. And you're like, I feel good about it. And I'm like, I feel good about it. So you call them up, we kind of do this interface, send in a deposit, and these breeders were awesome people. It was a great 8 weeks, because we found them just before the puppies were born, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. So we went, gosh, I can't remember how old they were when we
picked at 2 weeks.
At 2 weeks. Yep.
They were, I want to say maybe 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
We'd gone up there and held puppies. And that was another interesting experience, because the puppy that I thought I wanted, I was number one. I was picking based on markings. I was like, oh, this one's so cute.
Right.
And that puppy seemed to like need me. I thought it was cosmic. This puppy needs me.
Right. Yep.
And you know, you did your observations. You watched the puppy's nurse. You watched kind of their interaction and how it was all working, and roll them on their backs. And of course, this is something that takes finesse, because I could say that rolling a puppy on its back and deciding if it was going to give up or it was going to keep fighting or if it was going to fight and then submit. I was like, I don't know. That's I can see it, but I can't really see it.
Right.
And then you gave me a choice of 2 of the dogs in the litter. Okay. Which, you know, here's what I'm seeing. And I would have picked, you know, something other than that, which is so funny, because afterwards we're driving away, you know, it was all honky-dory, and I kind of connected with Harvey once I picked him up, and he said, okay, these are the 2. And I picked him up, and it was just like, I knew it. He had this cute little white spot on his nose, and his eyes weren't even really open.
Yep.
And I just looked at him and thought, okay, this is the dog that my kids are going to grow up with.
Yeah.
This is him. So it was really cool. It wasn't like, oh, I'm the happiest person in the world, because my heart was still a little bit broken.
Sure.
From losing Juju. It was really, that like wrecked me.
Yep.
But driving away, and I said, Joe, tell me honestly, the puppy that I would have picked, how would it have been? And you're like, that would have easily been the neediest dog in the litter.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a bad dog, but it wouldn't have been the right dog for you.
Right.
Which kind of blew me away. I remember driving home on that drive, and my hands almost felt like white knuckled on the steering wheel, thinking, I just avoided another disaster, because I had someone sitting in the chair next to me that knows what's up. Like I would have steered myself right into another problem.
And you just don't, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know, right? And it's such a different experience to go through, trusting somebody else to, I mean, who are you to pick out a dog, right? I mean, but that's what people like, well, I can pick out a dog. I can, you know, connect with it, but we all connect differently depending upon where we're at in life.
Yes. And I think that's a huge thing that I've learned through this whole process, was maybe what I thought I wanted wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
Or what I really needed.
Yep.
Or could handle.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. So the breeders, they were fabulous, and you guys got to watch them grow up. They would send videos and you watched them until they were ready to go.
Yeah, and I even got to take my kids up there. They were 5 weeks.
Yeah.
The puppies were 5 weeks, and I took the kids up and introduced them, and we stayed and played for almost 2 hours. They were fabulous, and they kept asking questions, because they knew that you knew what's up, and they, you know, things like eating out of the same bowl.
Right.
All those puppies would have been eating out of the same bowl if you hadn't told them.
Yeah. Yep.
And like Harvey has 0 food issues. He loves food. You know, he's very motivated by treats, but he's from the get-go, he's eating in his crate. He doesn't get weird and beggy or growly about food or bones or anything. Any dog can come up to him and play, and he's never territorial about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. He just never had to worry about those survival things.
Yeah. So none of that was typed into his brain. And it's amazing how that really does affect him. I mean, things like they gave him baths early on, so he would be used to it, and we've kept it up, and desensitizing him with clippers and noises and just any little thing. They did a fabulous job of kind of heeding your advice and just giving Harvey the best start that he possibly could have had.
Yep. Yeah. So Harvey came home, and you guys went through training and the determination that you have in your personality. Tell us a little bit about Harvey's little non-perfect side.
All right. So Harvey has a secret side. He has this weird obsession with socks. It's so funny because it's socks. It's not underwear or any other clothing item. It's socks. And psychologically, I always wonder, what does this mean?
Yeah.
But if given the chance, he very early on, we worked on Leave It, and he's always been perfect at it in front of us.
Yep.
Totally understands that we could put the most high value treat in front of his nose and he would leave it because he understands it. But if you take your eyes off him for 1 second, he has perfectly calculated in his brain where he's going to go to get what he wants.
Yep.
And honestly, we've either lost all of the socks to Harvey's belly and then eventually our backyard, or barf in the crate.
Yep.
Or I've just become this tight, weird sock person where my kids, a sock cannot touch the ground in our house.
Yeah. Yep.
I always wonder if, like, down the road he will just give that pursuit up, or if it will always stay a little bit of an obsession for him.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, like, he's to my face, he will always be the bestest.
Yep.
But he's got that one little percentage of him that's like, hey, I'm going to go for this.
Right.
And it's calculated. I think he's turned his sights toward tissues and paper towels lately because there's no socks to be had. So,
which that's a little bit safer.
Yeah, exactly. Those come out in the bowel easier.
Yes, exactly. So the sock thing, psychologically, it'll always be a point of, I don't know that worry's the right word, but the sock will always be the focus. Even if we attempt to let him grow out of it, there's always going to be a piece of all of you guys that are worried about the socks. And so therefore the socks are always going to be pretty high value in your house.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'll ever get through it because he's created this picture and therefore you guys have to follow that.
Yeah. We're all obsessed with socks.
Yep.
The fear of socks.
Right.
That's another thing that's so interesting to me is stepping back and looking at what the pictures we're creating. That's one of the things that we try to ask ourselves all the time that you taught us. Like, okay, wait, what are we saying? What are we communicating here? And what is he learning?
Yep.
Because he picks up on stuff very quickly. I mean, the kids wanted to teach him a new trick and, all of a sudden he can high five really fast.
Yeah.
And he can do, he's very quick to learn.
Right. So somewhere a sock became a really cool thing. And yeah. And he's stuck with it the whole way.
Who knows?
Shannon, what questions do you have?
You were talking a little bit earlier about like what your expectations, you have expectations for when you get a dog, but can you elaborate on like what your expectations were for this dog, bringing it into your home, how it would fit in your family, and why Harvey is the perfect match for you guys?
Sure. I think it all stems from when one of my parents' dogs passed away. We were able to be there when the dog was put down. They had this wonderful vet that's since retired, and he was a home visit vet. And when this dog Charlie got put down, I had my kids there, and I really wanted them to see the full circle of life. And I think that they really understood how much that dog loved my family and how much our family loved that dog. And I think bringing a dog into our family was obviously not a situation that we took very lightly. We probably over-analyzed and over-stressed and over-worried and over-prepared. But when it came down to it, Harvey's nonchalant, more easygoing way was the perfect fit for us. I'm fairly high stress. I'm an easigoing person, but I'm really not. I'm a type A. I'm pretending to be an easygoing person. Right. I'm really type A. But I'm a creative. You know, I try to figure these things out, and I worry a lot in my head. And Harvey has helped all of us to just lighten up a little bit. I don't think the puppy stage was necessarily easy, but I do think our puppy stage was a lot easier than most people.
Yeah.
And I think he's still in a puppy stage. I mean, I know that he's only a year, and big dogs can be puppies for a little while, but I have noticed a lot of maturing lately. He's always been very connected to us, but I had my friend Jenny pointed out that, you know, you lean back and that dog leans into you, and he trusts us so implicitly that makes my heart knit to him even more. He knows each of us. He knows where we're going. I mean, I cannot walk anywhere in my house where he isn't with me. And we always, you know, we had him dragging a leash from the get-go. We started out just as we meant to go on. And that was one thing I did with my kids as babies. I read so many books before they showed up, and I was so worried about making sure I'm doing it right. And obviously we learned a lot along the way. But one of my favorite books was The Baby Whisperer, that it talked a lot about starting routines, and not necessarily strict schedules, but a routine. And I can see how that helped calm my kids, and it helped me. And we do the same thing with our dog. What's the picture we're creating? Why? And I can see that he's now, for the work we put in him, he's now paying more dividends than in the beginning. The beginning was harder. And I think that I maybe didn't relish it as much because I was still waiting somehow for Harvey to prove it to me that he was right and that I really loved him.
Yeah.
I never questioned that I loved him. I just thought, do I really love him?
Right.
And now that we're on this side a year in, I'm like, yes, we really do. He is just right. He balances us. He's still work. And I think that element of work is sometimes the thought of it's exhausting, but it's also so rewarding in everything that he gives back to us.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What would you say the kids' favorite part about Harvey is for them?
I think that he's wonderful at greeting them when they come home from school. He knows it's 3:15 and he stands up, he walks around, he knows they're coming home soon. You know, they're a solid 5 to 7 minutes from walking in the door.
Yeah.
But he knows, and he's ready, and he gives each of them their own greeting. And each of them has a very different relationship with Harvey. And each of them is very certain that they are Harvey's favorite.
Yeah. Yep.
He seems, you know, and they've kind of fell into this role very easily. And it's helped emotionally, I think, for all the kids to connect to him. They love to romp with him. I never really imagined, because I didn't grow up with it, I didn't see it happening, this whole wrestle with your dog thing.
Right. Yeah.
It's a real thing, and it's really great for my kids. I love it. Like, we have a trampoline, but we kind of, not that we're pounding on Harvey, but he somehow takes that physical element.
Yep.
And Ryan as well. Ryan and Harvey have this ritual that they do. And if Ryan's gone at work or he's gone for the night or something, Harvey misses it, and he's got to get done.
Sure.
They chase each other around in this circle and around the island in the kitchen, and then play hide and seek. And it's like the happiest thing for both of them.
Yeah.
And I never really saw that side of dog ownership, this whole physicality thing.
Yep.
But Harvey is there. He fits that bill. I had no idea we were missing that part of our life.
Right.
But we were.
Yeah.
Because now it's here, and it's just right.
That's awesome. What advice would you give people out there listening that is in search of a dog, or that, you know, what's the process? What advice would you give?
I would say, don't be an idiot and choose on your own. Choose someone that knows, because putting your trust in someone is way hard. But if you can look at someone's track record and say, okay, these people had a really positive experience, it wasn't without some struggle. I mean, I don't think anything in life is really worthwhile if it just comes easy.
Yeah.
But I do think that having someone who knows the ins and outs, and for all intents and purposes it actually really does understand a dog's psyche, that's huge. And and starting out as you mean to go on. You know, it's like we train from day one. There was no, oh, the baby misses its mom kind of thing. It was just these are the expectations. This is how we work in our home. And a dog falls right into that routine. And I think they feel so safe and so comfortable knowing that they're fitting in to their role alone.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Sure. I think that's just, I personally will never go it alone. And I don't think that I would ever forget that. Yeah. Having had the experience that I had, it's like, this is the only way to do it. I will never, you know, pick up a box of puppies and say, oh, they're all so cute. I'll take this one. You got to know more.
Yes. Yeah. And you'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah.
You'd have the wrath of Joe on you.
No thanks. I'm good.
Laura, thanks so much. And I will let you know when we post it. It'll be in February this month.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com. And as always, we urge you to get out and train.